The massive alien research vessel hung silently in Earth's orbit, hidden from human detection by advanced cloaking technology. Inside, a team of extraterrestrial scientists buzzed with excitement. After years of preparation, they were about to embark on their most ambitious mission yet, studying the inhabitants of the blue planet below. Dr. Six, the lead researcher, called the team to order. The tall, slender alien had pale blue skin and large, multifaceted eyes that blinked rapidly as she spoke. "Today, we make history," she announced. "We are the first to study humans up close. Remember, we must not interfere with their society. Our goal is to observe and learn." The team nodded in agreement. They had spent months learning Earth languages and customs. Now it was time to put their knowledge to the test. As the sun rose over North America, a small shuttle departed the main ship. It carried Dr. Zix and 4 other researchers: Krell, the technology expert; Vreen, the biologist; Lorp, the cultural specialist; and Mick, the security officer. Their destination was a remote area in the Rocky Mountains, where they planned to set up a hidden base camp. The shuttle landed silently in a small clearing. Trees towered around them, their leaves rustling in the cool morning breeze. Dr. Six took a deep breath, savoring her first taste of Earth's air. "It's so fresh," she remarked. Krell was already setting up their equipment. "The atmosphere is just as our scans indicated," he reported. "Mostly nitrogen and oxygen, quite suitable for carbon-based life forms." Vreen knelt to examine a small flower growing at the base of a tree. "Fascinating," she murmured. "Such diversity in their plant life." Lorp, meanwhile, was focused on a small device in his hand. "I'm picking up radio signals from a nearby human settlement," he said. "Shall we move closer to begin our observations?" Dr. Zix considered for a moment. "Yes, but remember to activate your personal cloaking devices. We can't risk being seen." The team made their way through the forest, their forms shimmering and blending with the surroundings thanks to their advanced technology. After an hour's hike, they reached the outskirts of a small town. From their hidden vantage point, the aliens watched in fascination as humans went about their daily lives. They saw cars driving down streets, people walking dogs, and children playing in a park. "They seem ordinary," Mick observed, a hint of disappointment in his voice. "Don't be too hasty in your judgment," Dr. Zix cautioned. "We've only just begun our study. Humans have managed to develop a complex civilization. There must be more to them than meets the eye." As the day wore on, the team continued their observations. They listened to human conversations, watched their interactions, and took careful notes on their behavior. By nightfall, they had gathered a wealth of initial data. Back at their camp, the team gathered to share their findings. "Their technology is primitive compared to ours," Krell reported, "but they're advancing rapidly. It's impressive, given their short lifespans." Vreen added her biological observations. "Their physical capabilities are average for beings of their size. Nothing extraordinary." Lorp, the cultural expert, seemed the most excited. "Their social structures are incredibly complex. They have so many different cultures, languages, and beliefs. It's fascinating." Dr. Six listened to all the reports with interest. "Excellent work, everyone. But remember, this is just the beginning. We'll need to observe them in various settings and situations to get a full picture of their capabilities." As the team prepared for their first night on Earth, Dr. Zix gazed up at the star-filled sky. She couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to humans than they had seen so far. What secrets might this species hold? What surprises awaited them in the days to come? Little did Dr. Zix know, her team was about to embark on a journey that would challenge everything they thought they knew about the universe and their place in it. The humans, with their seemingly ordinary lives, were about to turn the aliens' world upside down. 2 weeks had passed since the alien research team arrived on Earth. Their hidden base in the Rocky Mountains hummed with activity as they processed the data they had gathered. Dr. Zix sat at her desk, frowning at the holographic display before her. "Something doesn't add up," she muttered, her large eyes narrowing in concentration. Krell, who was working nearby, looked up. "What's troubling you, Doctor?" Dr. Zix waved him over. "Look at these readings. According to our initial observations, humans should be limited in their physical and mental capabilities. But these incidents," she gestured at several data points on the screen, "they suggest otherwise." Krell leaned in, his antenna twitching with interest. You're right. This doesn't match our predictions at all." Just then, Vreen burst into the room, her usually calm demeanor replaced by excitement. "You need to see this," she exclaimed, holding up a datapad. The team gathered around as Vreen played a video she had captured during her latest observation mission. It showed a human lifting a car to free a trapped child. The feat seemed impossible for a being of the human size and muscle mass. "How is this possible?" Lorp asked, his voice filled with wonder. Mick, ever the skeptic, crossed his arms. "Perhaps their species is simply stronger than we thought." Dr. Zix shook her head. "No, it's more than that. Look at the data from the other incidents." She pulled up more files on the main screen. There was footage of a human running at speeds that defied their physical limits, another showing inexplicable feats of endurance, and even cases of humans surviving conditions that should have been fatal. These abilities seem to manifest in times of extreme stress or danger, Dr. Zix observed. It's as if they can tap into some hidden reservoir of power. The team fell into a thoughtful silence, each considering the implications of this discovery. Krell was the first to speak up. "Should we report this to the Galactic Council?" Dr. Zix hesitated. "Not yet. We need more data. These could be isolated incidents or anomalies. We need to be certain before we make any claims." "But how do we investigate further without revealing ourselves?" Lorp asked. Mick stepped forward, a glint in his eye. "I have an idea. We could create controlled situations to test their limits." The others looked at him in surprise. Dr. Zix raised an eyebrow. "Go on." "We have the technology to manipulate their environment subtly. We could create scenarios that would push humans to their limits and observe the results," Mick explained. Dr. Zix considered this for a moment. It was a risky plan, skirting the edges of their non-interference policy. But the potential for discovery was too great to ignore. "Very well," she decided, "but we must be extremely careful. Our actions cannot be detected, and we must not put any humans in real danger." Over the next few days, the team put their plan into action. They used their advanced technology to create subtle challenges for the humans they observed. In a busy city, they caused a traffic light to malfunction, nearly causing an accident. They watched in amazement as a human reacted with impossible speed, preventing a collision. At a construction site, they weakened a scaffold. When it began to collapse, a worker demonstrated strength far beyond normal human limits, holding it up long enough for others to escape. During a house fire, they observed a human rushing into the flames, emerging unscathed with a rescued child. Each incident added to their growing pile of evidence. Humans, it seemed, possessed some hidden ability that allowed them to transcend their physical limitations in moments of crisis. As the team reviewed their findings, excitement and tension filled the air. They were on the brink of a major discovery, one that could change the way the galaxy viewed humanity. "We need to dig deeper," Dr. Zix announced. "Whatever this ability is, it's unlike anything we've encountered before. We need to understand how it works, what triggers it, and what it means for the humans and for us." The others nodded in agreement, their earlier skepticism replaced by burning curiosity. They had come to Earth expecting to study an unremarkable species. Instead, they found themselves unraveling a mystery that challenged everything they thought they knew about the limits of sentient beings. As night fell over their hidden base, the alien researchers prepared for the next phase of their investigation. Little did they know, their greatest discovery and their greatest challenge was yet to come. The alien research team had been on Earth for a month now. Their hidden base in the Rocky Mountains was a hive of activity. Dr. Zix and her team were working around the clock, trying to understand the strange abilities they had observed in humans. One sunny morning, Lorp rushed into the main research lab, his antenna quivering with excitement. "Dr. Zix, you need to see this immediately." Dr. Zix looked up from her work, her large eyes blinking rapidly. "What is it, Lorp?" Lorp activated the main view screen, displaying a live feed from one of their hidden cameras. The scene showed a busy city street. Suddenly, a young child ran into the road, chasing after a ball. A large truck was speeding towards the child, its driver unaware of the danger. The alien researchers watched in horror, knowing they couldn't interfere. But then something extraordinary happened. A woman on the sidewalk saw the child. In a blink of an eye, she moved faster than should have been possible. She reached the child, scooped them up, and leaped to safety. The truck rushed by, missing them by inches. The room fell silent as the alien stared at the screen in disbelief. "Did you see that?" Vreen whispered, breaking the silence. "She moved so fast. It's not physically possible for humans." Krull was already analyzing the data. According to our sensors, her speed was 5 times faster than the human maximum. And her jump, she cleared nearly 10 feet horizontally. Dr. Zix leaned closer to the screen, her mind racing. "This is it," she said softly. "This is the proof we've been looking for. Humans have an ability to tap into some unknown power source in moments of extreme stress or danger." Mick, ever cautious, spoke up. "But how? What's the mechanism behind this ability?" Dr. Zix turned to her team, her eyes shining with determination. "That's what we need to find out. This discovery could change everything we know about sentient beings. We need to understand how this works." Over the next few days, the alien team worked tirelessly. They reviewed all their data, looking for patterns. They used their advanced technology to scan humans during moments of stress, hoping to detect any unusual energy signatures. Finally, after countless hours of work, they had a breakthrough. Krull called everyone to the lab. "I think I've found something," he said, pulling up a complex series of graphs and charts on the main screen. The team gathered around, listening intently as Krull explained his findings. "Look at these readings," he said, pointing to a particular set of data. "When humans tap into this ability, there's a sudden spike in quantum field activity around them. It's as if they're somehow manipulating the fundamental forces of the universe." The room erupted in excited chatter. This was beyond anything they had imagined when they first came to Earth. Dr. Zix raised her hand for silence. "If this is true," she said slowly, "it means humans have a latent ability that no other known species possesses. They can unconsciously influence quantum fields, allowing them to perform feats that seem impossible." Vreen spoke up, her voice filled with awe. "But they don't seem aware of this ability. It only manifests in extreme situations." "Exactly," Dr. Zix nodded. "Imagine what they could do if they learned to control it consciously." The implications of this discovery began to sink in. Humans, a species that seemed unremarkable at first glance, had the potential to become one of the most powerful races in the galaxy. Mick voiced the concern they were all thinking. This could change the balance of power in the entire galaxy. If humans ever master this ability, Dr. Zix finished his thought, they could become a force unlike anything we've ever seen. The alien researchers looked at each other, a mix of excitement and apprehension on their faces. They had come to Earth seeking knowledge, and they had found something beyond their wildest expectations. As the sun set outside their hidden base, casting long shadows across the mountains, the team knew that their mission had changed. They weren't just observers anymore. They were now keepers of a secret that could reshape the future of the galaxy. Dr. Zix looked at her team, her voice firm but filled with wonder. "We need to understand this ability fully. The fate of humanity, and perhaps the entire galaxy, may depend on what we do next." With their groundbreaking discovery about human abilities, Dr. Zix and her team knew they had to dig deeper, but they faced a big challenge. how to study humans more closely without being noticed. After much debate, they came up with a clever plan. They would create situations that might trigger the human's special ability, all while staying hidden. Krell developed tiny, invisible sensors that could be placed around human cities. These sensors could detect the unique energy signature they had discovered when humans used their quantum abilities. Vreem suggested focusing on places where emergencies often happened: hospitals, fire stations, and busy intersections. That's where we're most likely to see this ability in action, she explained. Lorp had the job of monitoring human media and emergency channels. He would alert the team when something big was happening, so they could watch closely. Mick, always thinking about safety, made sure their observation methods wouldn't put any humans in real danger. "We're here to study, not to harm," he reminded everyone. Dr. Zix approved the plan. "Remember," she told her team, "we must be extremely careful. We cannot interfere or let humans know we're watching." Over the next few weeks, the alien researchers put their plan into action. They spread out across several human cities, always invisible, always watching. They saw amazing things. A firefighter lifted a fallen beam that should have been too heavy, saving trapped people in a burning building. A doctor worked for 72 hours straight during a crisis, showing no signs of tiredness. A mother sensed her child was in danger from miles away, rushing to save them just in time. Each time these events happened, the alien sensors lit up, showing the telltale signs of quantum manipulation. But it wasn't just big emergencies that triggered the ability. They noticed smaller incidents too. A student suddenly understanding a difficult concept right before a big test. An artist creating a masterpiece in a burst of inspiration. An athlete breaking a world record by a seemingly impossible margin. Dr. Zix and her team collected all this data, trying to understand the patterns. They noticed that strong emotions seemed to play a big role in activating the ability. Fear, love, determination. These feelings often came just before a human did something extraordinary. One day, while reviewing their findings, Vreem made an interesting observation. "It's not just individuals," she said, pointing to some data. "When humans work together in high-stress situations, their abilities seem to grow even stronger." The team looked at the evidence. Vreem was right. There were cases of groups of humans accomplishing amazing feats when they united for a common cause. This discovery led to more questions. Could humans learn to use this ability on purpose? What would happen if they did? The implications were both exciting and a little scary. As their research continued, the alien team found themselves feeling more and more amazed by humans. This species, which had seemed so ordinary at first, was full of surprises. But their research also brought new worries. Dr. Zix often found herself wondering, what would happen if humans fully understood their own potential? How would it change them? How would it change the galaxy? The team knew they had to keep investigating. There was still so much to learn, so many questions to answer. One evening, as they gathered to discuss their findings, Dr. Zix looked at her team. She could see the excitement in their eyes, but also the concern. "We've discovered something incredible," she said. "But with this knowledge comes great responsibility. We must be wise in how we proceed." The others nodded in agreement. They all understood the importance of their work. They were unlocking the secrets of a species with amazing potential. What they did with this information could shape the future of not just humanity, but the entire galaxy. As night fell over Earth, the alien researchers continued their secret observations. They watched, they learned, and they wondered what new surprises humans would reveal next. After months of careful study, Dr. Zix and her team were ready to analyze their findings. They gathered in their hidden base, excitement filling the air. It was time to uncover the truth behind humanity's extraordinary ability. Krell started the meeting by projecting a complex 3D model in the center of the room. "This," he explained, "is a representation of the human ability we've been observing." The model showed a human figure surrounded by swirling patterns of energy. As the team watched, the energy patterns shifted and changed, responding to the figure's movements. Based on our data, Krell continued, humans can unconsciously manipulate quantum fields. This allows them to do things that should be impossible according to classical physics. Vreen stepped forward, her eyes shining with excitement. It's like they're tapping into the very fabric of the universe itself. They can influence probability, enhance their physical abilities, and even affect the world around them. Dr. Zix nodded, her expression thoughtful. But they don't seem to be aware they're doing it. It's an instinctive response, usually triggered by extreme emotions or life-threatening situations. Lorp, who had been analyzing human history, spoke up. This ability might explain many of the miraculous events in human folklore and religious texts. Things that seemed impossible might have been early manifestations of this power. The team considered this idea. It could explain a lot about human myths and legends. Mick, always practical, asked the question they were all thinking. But what does this mean for the future, if humans learn to control this ability? Dr. Zix finished his thought. They could become one of the most powerful species in the galaxy. The room fell silent as everyone considered the implications. After a moment, Krell spoke again. There's more, he said, adjusting the holographic display. Look at this. The model zoomed in, showing the intricate patterns of energy at a subatomic level. The human ability doesn't just affect their own bodies, Krell explained. It can influence the quantum fields around them. In theory, with enough control, they could alter the fundamental properties of matter and energy. The team stared in awe at the display. The potential of such an ability was almost beyond comprehension. Vreen's voice was filled with wonder as she spoke. They could potentially manipulate gravity, create energy from nothing, even alter the flow of time itself. But only in small ways, right? Lorp asked, looking worried. Krell shook his head. Our data suggests that the more humans use this ability, the stronger it becomes. If they learn to use it consciously, there's no telling what limits they might reach. Dr. Zix stepped into the center of the room, her expression serious. This discovery changes everything we thought we knew about sentient beings. Humans aren't just another emerging species. They're a cosmic wildcard. The team looked at each other, a mix of excitement and concern on their faces. They had come to Earth expecting to study an ordinary species. Instead, they had uncovered a secret that could reshape the balance of power in the entire galaxy. We need to decide what to do with this information, Dr. Zix said. Do we report our findings to the Galactic Council? Do we continue our research in secret? Or do we attempt to make contact with humans and help them understand their own potential? Each option came with its own risks and possibilities. The wrong choice could have serious consequences not just for humanity, but for all intelligent life in the galaxy. As the alien researchers debated their next move, Earth continued to spin below their hidden base. Its inhabitants went about their daily lives, unaware of the extraordinary power they possessed, or the fact that they were being watched by beings from another world. The secret of humanity's ability had been unveiled, that the greatest challenges and the most important decisions still lay ahead. Whatever path Dr. Zix and her team chose, one thing was certain. The future of the galaxy would never be the same. The alien research team sat in tense silence. The weight of their discovery pressed heavily on each of them. Dr. Zix looked around the room, her large eyes taking in the worried expressions of her colleagues. We need to decide what to do with this information, she said, breaking the silence. This isn't just about scientific discovery anymore. Our decision could change the fate of humanity and the entire galaxy. Krell spoke up first. We should report our findings to the Galactic Council immediately, he said firmly. This is too big for us to handle alone. Vreen shook her head. But what if the Council decides humans are too dangerous? They might choose to interfere with Earth's development, or worse. The room erupted into heated debate. Each team member had their own opinion on what should be done. Lorp argued for continued secret observation. We need more data, he insisted. We can't make a decision this big without understanding everything about this ability. Mick, always concerned with security, had a different view. Humans could become a threat if they master this power. Maybe it's better to prevent that from happening. Dr. Six listened to all their arguments, her mind racing. She knew that whatever they decided would have far-reaching consequences. After hours of debate, they narrowed their options down to 3 choices. 1. Tell the Galactic Council everything and let them decide what to do. 2. Continue their secret research, gathering more data before making a final decision. 3. Make contact with humans and help them understand their own abilities. Each choice had its own risks and benefits. They spent days discussing the pros and cons of each option. If they told the Galactic Council, they would be following proper procedures. But the Council might decide to interfere with Earth's natural development, or even see humans as a threat. Continuing their secret research seemed safer. But what if humans discovered their ability on their own? The aliens might lose the chance to guide humanity's growth. Making contact with humans was the most daring option. It could lead to a new era of cooperation between species, but it also risked exposing the existence of alien life before humanity was ready. As the days passed, tensions in the team grew. They were no longer just scientists making observations. Now they held the fate of an entire species in their hands. Dr. Six often found herself staring down at the Earth, watching the tiny lights of human cities twinkling below. She marveled at how such a seemingly ordinary species could hold such extraordinary potential. One evening, as the team gathered for another discussion, Vreen raised a point they hadn't considered before. What if this ability isn't unique to humans? She asked. What if other species have it too, but haven't discovered it yet? We could be on the brink of a new understanding of all sentient life. This new idea added another layer to their already complex dilemma. If other species could develop this ability, how would that change the balance of power in the galaxy? As the debate continued, Dr. Six noticed something changing in her team. Despite their disagreements, they were working together more closely than ever. The weight of their responsibility had united them in a way nothing else could. She realized that this, perhaps, was the true power of their discovery. Not just the ability to manipulate quantum fields, but the way it brought beings together, encouraging cooperation in the face of the unknown. As the Earth turned below them, day fading into night, and back into day, the alien researchers grappled with their ethical dilemma. They knew that soon they would have to make a decision. The future of humanity, and perhaps the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. Whatever they decided, one thing was clear: nothing would ever be the same again. The universe had revealed one of its deepest secrets, and now it was up to them to decide what to do with that knowledge. As the alien research team debated their next move, fate decided to intervene. On a quiet Tuesday morning, everything changed in an instant. Krell was monitoring their cloaking systems when he noticed something strange. "Dr. Six," he called out, his voice filled with alarm. "Our cloaking device is malfunctioning." The team rushed to their control room. On the main screen, they could see their ship's outline starting to flicker against the blue Earth sky. "What's happening?" Dr. Six demanded, her usual calm replaced by urgency. Krell's fingers flew over the controls. "I don't know. It's like something is interfering with our technology." Suddenly, Vreen gasped. She pointed to another screen showing readings from Earth. "Look at the quantum field activity. It's off the charts." The team watched in astonishment as waves of energy pulsed across the planet. It was as if the entire human race was unconsciously tapping into their hidden ability all at once. "Could this be causing our malfunction?" Lorp asked, his antenna twitching nervously. Before anyone could answer, their ship gave a violent shudder. Warning alarms blared throughout the vessel. "We're losing altitude," Mick shouted over the noise. "The human's energy field is disrupting our anti-gravity systems." Dr. Six made a split-second decision. "We have no choice. We need to land before we crash. Find an isolated area, quickly." As their ship descended, they could see people pointing up at the sky. Their secret was out. Humans were witnessing the arrival of an alien spacecraft. They managed to land in a large field, away from any major cities, but it wasn't long before they saw vehicles approaching. Military trucks, news vans, and curious civilians all raced toward their location. "What do we do now?" Vreen asked, fear evident in her voice. Dr. Zix took a deep breath. "We do what we should have done from the beginning. We make contact." As the team prepared to face the humans, they could feel the energy in the air. The quantum fields around them buzzed with activity. It was as if the entire planet was holding its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The ship's door opened with a hiss. Dr. Zix stepped out, followed by her team. They found themselves facing a crowd of humans, their expressions a mix of fear, awe, and curiosity. A brave human stepped forward, a woman in a military uniform. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice steady despite the extraordinary situation. Dr. Zix spoke, using the Earth languages they had learned. "We are researchers from a distant world. We came to study your species, but we discovered something remarkable." She went on to explain their mission and their incredible discovery about human abilities. As she spoke, she could see the shock and wonder spreading through the crowd. "You mean, we can do all that?" a young man in the crowd asked, his eyes wide. "You have the potential," Dr. Zix answered, "but it will take time and learning to control it." As the initial shock wore off, the mood began to change. Humans started asking questions, eager to learn more about their own abilities and the wider galaxy. The alien team found themselves surrounded by scientists, government officials, and curious citizens. Everyone wanted to know more about the universe and humanity's place in it. In the days that followed, Earth was abuzz with excitement. The news of alien contact and the revelation of humanity's hidden potential spread like wildfire. There were challenges, of course. Some people were afraid of the changes this would bring. Others wanted to use the new knowledge for selfish purposes. But overall, a sense of hope and unity began to spread across the planet. Dr. Zix and her team worked tirelessly, sharing their knowledge and helping humans understand their newfound abilities. They'd watched in amazement as humans began to consciously tap into the quantum fields, achieving things they once thought impossible. As Earth took its first steps into a larger universe, Dr. Zix reflected on their journey. They had come to study an ordinary species, only to discover something extraordinary. Now, they were part of a new chapter in galactic history. The future was uncertain, full of both promise and challenges. But one thing was clear: humanity was ready to take its place among the stars, armed with an ability that would change the course of the galaxy forever.